Stop doing the robot.
Boop, boop, boop.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Shred. Woo! I'm your host, Lisa Shea Mundt.
I'm Amber Hart.
And we are the pulse of GovCon. Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Rohirrim. Today's episode is, should robots be bidding on your next federal contract? Which is a really goofy way to talk about generative AI and how it is taking the government contracting proposal development world by storm.
Hello, LinkedIn.
Hello, LinkedIn. This is such an important topic because especially in the year 2024, different SaaS platforms for proposal development are popping up every day.
Every single day.
We see them. You see them on LinkedIn. You see the advertisements start rolling through.
Throwing out seed money like crazy.
And it is the way that our industry is going. Amber and I are historically naysayers when it comes to proposal software development. And it's not necessarily because we thought that our jobs were at risk, but more so it's because of industry's expectation about what software can and can't do. AI has wonderful use cases across the proposal development industry. And we're here today to talk about 4 ways that proposal AI software can actually assist your firm and where it can't. For this first segment, we're going to talk about why you would use a proposal AI tool on your next proposal development.
It's a cool thing to do.
It's not just because it's a cool thing to do. Truthfully, it is not just the next hot thing. There are very real reasons why you would use a software to help you in your proposal development. Things like scalability, so that you can expand your capacity in order to go after more proposals.
Hello, task order response cells.
I mean, a huge use case for it. It's your efficiency and the speed at which you can get to different milestones of the proposal development process faster.
Like developing color team reviews or getting you to a draft faster and understanding being able to pull that information so that you can actually start writing your customized content a lot sooner.
It's also consistency, making sure that as an organization you're using the same language and the same jargon.
Or not mixing up agency names.
You know, and making sure that you are consistent in your messaging.
And branding.
Across the entirety of federal government procurement.
Oh my gosh, and your numbers.
Right,
your
the numbers. I mean, you think about from a proposal management perspective how we used to have a literal wall of truth.
Wait, are we going to be losing the wall of truth?
We have lost the wall of truth.
The robots are going to take the wall of truth.
They already have, because we're in virtual proposal centers now where we don't necessarily have a whiteboard that we're writing and editing. We have this sort of information documented online, and that's something that your proposal tools can assist you with. So there's a lot of things that you can use a proposal software for. You can use it for content generation. You can use it to collaborate. You can use it to pull from system repositories. And yes, you can now use generative AI to write segments of your proposal.
And one of my favorite things is actually using generative AI for data analysis. We mentioned earlier, right, about your metrics and your numbers and pulling those things together over a period of time, over all your reports, getting them into one Excel. Who's stayed up late really do that to get a good win theme and proof point,
that
right?
one.
So I definitely have. So that actually really helps in looking at the analysis of your data, making sure it's consistent, and maybe showing you a few things that you didn't see before that's really gonna help you translate your solution and your win themes to your next customer.
Truly. Template development is another huge one. We know how cumbersome it can be to shred a solicitation and to build those annotated writer's outline. Yeah, get it shred. That's what this whole thing is called. Did you know? So building.
Are we robots?
We might be.
Are you a robot?
Don't ask, because I won't confirm. So template development, though, is a huge time saver. And that's really, like we said before, it's that efficiency. It's that scalability, and it is consistency across your proposal development efforts. The next segment that you really need to understand before using a proposal SaaS platform is to understand the content and the training of the AI models that you are using. AI tools really are only as good as the data that's being put in there. And some considerations are things like representation bias. It's the training and the quality of that training of the data.
Absolutely. Another thing that could happen is your data drift, which means that if the AI model is not constantly being trained and used and updated with unstructured data, then all of a sudden it's less current and it's not going to work as well. So it really is, how often are they training it? How often are they exercising? There you go. I'm all on it.
Exercise. Data imbalance is another one. So there are just so many things that us as layman's people that don't really understand.
Don't ask me to understand.
The background of technology still need to be cognizant of, because it could impact our ability to win a federal proposal.
Or even have accurate data.
Another thing to consider is how to make a generated proposal your own.
So if you're thinking about using an AI tool for your next proposal, chances are your competitors also are as well, right? So it's really easy to imagine a scenario when a source selection committee is going through their proposals and all of a sudden, not only do the graphics look the same, do the subheadings look the same, and oh my gosh, the content now is reading the same. So that's why you have to be really careful about making sure that even if you're using an AI tool to generate parts of your proposal, that you're always making sure that it's customized. Not only would this make you look real bad to your federal customers, but it could also lead to issues in the courtroom, like the Procurement Integrity Act and the False Claims Act coming after you if this happens to become a trend.
Something to note is that AI and platforms and tools like this, that they're just that. They're a tool. It's not supposed to be this one
It's not a magic wand.
It's not supposed to be your final draft. You still need to make it your own. And yes, the data can be trained to make it more you than say like a chat GPT, which is hyper general. But the idea is once a tool spits out information, it's still incumbent on you, the contractor, to go through and make it sing and make it you and make it different.
Right? It's supposed to enable your humans to work better, not the other way around.
So to ensure that your AI-generated content is still grounded in your brand, there's a couple things that you can do. We just mentioned humans. We just mentioned your proposal professionals. Making sure that they have an understanding of their roles and responsibilities and how to best leverage the tools is a great way to make sure that you stay grounded in your brand.
Absolutely. It's more of a symbiotic relationship, right, than an actual one that's more at odds with one another. The technology is supposed to enable your humans to be able to do better work, create better solutions, actually think about win themes rather than at your red team review, things like that. Another way to make sure that this always stays customized to your brand, your messaging, and just who your organization is to ensure that the AI tool you're using brings domain awareness. Now, what do we mean about that? That means actually it's not just pulling from content from external sources. It's not just pulling from outside sources. It's actually pulling from your internal sources. So things like your procedural reports, your metrics, your progress reports, things that actually have been delivered to clients that are distinctively yours, so that that system can start pulling and really learning about your company, not just a general topic. Things like ChatGPT really do pull from public sources to kind of help create this knowledge base. But the issue being that ChatGPT only really works and provides you with factual things if that information is out there and already provided.
Right.
If it doesn't and it doesn't already exist, it will make up things, literally, to help fill in those gaps. And that's really, again, where we can fall into a procurement, integrity or false claims act if you're pulling from those types of sources to create solutions where maybe those don't exist, but they sound factual enough and they sound good enough where they might be real.
I've worked with consultants like that.
I was gonna say, that's not just ChatGPT.
That's not just
Those
a
are
technology
humans too.
thing. So that, again, is why it is so important to do your due diligence on your proposal AI platform, because it needs to be able to infer this type of information to increase your domain awareness. The fourth consideration in using a proposal AI software is that you need to be cognizant about protecting your information during and after writing a proposal. We know that proposal material is proprietary, and there are so many legal implications with not knowing where that information is coming from. that's why there are systems that are out there like ChatGPT that you should never put client or customer information into because you don't know where it's going. So when choosing a proposal software, you need to know where that information is being held and how protected it really is.
And a good way to protect yourself from this is to ensure that the software company and the vendor that you're working with is building a singular, exclusive tool that is just for your company. So, because the issue being that if it's being shared throughout a bunch of different vendors and companies, the questions you have to ask are, is my information being shared and being put into everyone else's AI model? Which then opens you up to, can that be FOIA'd? Is that publicly available information now? How factual is that going to be? And creates a lot of disruption against that proprietary data and really opens a whole new gray area of what's able to be shared, what can be FOIA'd, and then what's available out there for the public to find now.
So why does this matter? It matters because where we are now, you can ignore proposal AI at your own peril.
Like we did for a long time.
Yeah, you can't have your head in the sand. And I don't think it's a matter of people versus the robots, as Amber so aptly put before.
Robots taking over.
Nobody, when computers were introduced, said, oh, word processing is gonna take
Actually, I
away
think they did.
our ability. Okay, maybe they did. But you don't wanna be caught blind. You don't want to be a Luddite. You want to be ahead of this because it has started to infiltrate its way into federal procurement.
Absolutely. And another reason why these are really important to start considering and thinking about is we are operating in a gray area right now. So the way that we apply these AI tools and processes, the ethical way that we are utilizing this, are really going to have profound impacts on the industry for the years to come. And an example of that is at a recent NASA Soup 6 Industry Day, NASA did announce that they do not want vendors using any type of AI proposal tool to support their responses. And if that were to come to grasp, what could this bring up is actually a 2015 GAO decision on the VA, where VA came out and said that they don't want proposal consultants supporting the vendor in their task order response. And when that was actually brought to GAO sided on VA's side and said, you are within your rights to not request this and ask this. So this is a massive gray area. It's an area that has been hotly contested, I would say, over a decade ago. But with AI really being reintroduced into this field, with NASA taking such a big stance on a very large and popular vehicle, we could be looking at a time of debate again of consultants and now AI or robots coming in and helping with your federal bid.
But the moral of the story is if you are going to maintain, to be lean, to be agile, to do more with less,
Lean machine like a robot.
A lean robotic machine, it really is incumbent on you to leverage your proposal AI software effectively, because that is how we are all going to accelerate forward. That is how we are going to be able to meet the demands that government puts on industry to respond. It's how we are going to start level setting small shops versus some of the more mature ones. And it is something that you simply can't ignore.
But while you're not ignoring it and using this technology, please still let a human submit your proposal and your bid. Don't trust it all to the robots just yet.
Well, that's our show. Thanks so much for watching another episode of The Shred. Woo! Thank you so much. This is a great opportunity to talk about proposal AI. So thank you to our sponsor, Rohirrim, and we'll see you next time.